Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Great League Remix video. Today I'm going to be showcasing another good run I've made with a very strong team in the Remix Cup. We're running with Jellicent in the lead with Bubble, Surf, Shadow Ball. We're running Steelix with Dragon Tail, Psychic Fangs and Crunch. As you can see at the start here, we're starting off at 2497. I'm up to about 2650 at this point, after 2 days with this team. So today we're going to showcase some battles if you guys are trying to hit veteran or trying to make a bit of a climb in the Retro Cup. This could be quite a strong team. Also in the backline we do have Carbink. You can actually replace Carbink with Gligar. There's quite a popular team. I believe Matt Beer hit legend with this team except for it has Gligar. So if you don't have a Carbink or don't like using it, that is a potential replacement. However, today I want to have us sort of focus and talk about Steelix. As you're seeing in this first match, we're getting it exactly where we want it. I've decided to take off Breaking Swipe. Breaking Swipe's now a terrible move. They reduce the debuff chance to 50. However, it feels like 10%. Sometimes I have went 5 times in a row without getting a single debuff with Breaking Swipe. So I've went for Psychic Fangs and Crunch, the more classic moveset. Now these battles are played over 2 days. On day 1, I was using Earthquake, and on day 2, which was today, I was using Crunch. On both days I went 15 out of 25 with this team, like I said, gaining 150 elo. And from what I've noticed, Steelix just core breaks a lot of teams, and of course Carbink in the back. We've Jellicent in the front, very weak to Electric, very weak to Grass. Overall, this team is quite core broken by Grass types, which you will see later on in the video. So the less of those you see, the better. The only thing you can really do with Grass types is try to stay in the lead, go for the Shadow Ball, or go for the bait if you want to. Try to get a shield or heavy damage through, and then try to deal with it with Steelix. Grass types are very awkward for this team. However, not the most common typing in this cup. I've also been seeing a lot of teams with Lickitung, a lot of teams with Skarmory in the lead, and 2 dragons in the back. It's quite a popular line at the moment. Not sure who popularized it, but it has been around quite a lot. And as you guys are seeing in this first set, we're getting quite a lot of positive leads. This is quite a long video, so I've edited out a couple of the matches. I got hard countered for the first 2 matches of this team. I was starting to think twice about it. I've used it for 2 days now, and overall, just the bulk of these back 2 Pokemon, plus Jellicent with Bubble, working out super well. In this match here, we have a Poliwrath, which actually is quite an awkward match, and it is one of the reasons I want Psychic Fangs and Steelix. You can potentially 2-shield through Shadow Poliwrath with Steelix, with Psychic Fangs. If they have a regular Poliwrath, a little bit more difficult to do so, and if they beat Icy Wind, a little bit more difficult to do so as well. But providing they go for Scald, and providing you get your debuffs through, you can just farm it down, which is kind of nice. The opponent here goes for back-to-back moves. I end up double shielding for alignment here, trying to get my Carbink in the right place if possible. I go for a Surf here. I don't think this will KO, and yeah, we do get the Poliwrath quite low. Unfortunately, they do have 1 HP. The good thing is I'm not getting a ton of damage on my Steelix or my Carbink, and back in comes Charizard. They go for the Blast Burn. We do catch it on the Carbink. The opponent loaded up a bunch of energy before they left, and they come in with the Stinky Binky of their own, so this is still manageable. We got a Rock Roof through on the Charizard. Basically what I need to do here is just get a decent amount of farm of Steelix, go for an Earthquake, and hopefully look to throw off a moving Charizard, and that should basically be game over. Anyway guys, welcome on back to the videos. We're about 3 minutes in here. If you're still at this point, drop a like, subscribe, it is absolutely free, and buckle yourselves in folks, today's video is quite a long one. I do want you to let me know in the comment section down below. For these types of videos, do you prefer like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or even the longer videos like this, which is closer to 40 minutes? I used to do these videos quite a lot, and a lot of people did quite like the longer videos, but understandably a lot of you guys don't have 40 minutes to sit down and watch a GBL video, so of course watch as much of it as you want, or if you're thinking of trying this team, you can kind of skip through and see what matchups there are. Definitely quite a lot of footage here to go through, and a lot of information for you guys to sort of take from the video. But Skarmory lead, quite a common one. Oftentimes they do have a Mudboy in the back, so what I like to do here typically is go for Shadow Ball. I'll wait a turn and go for the catch and Steelix. Doesn't matter if they go Brave Bird or Sky Attack here, they go Brave Bird, which is great, and they come in with a Dragonair. Why are you coming into a Steelix with Dragonair? We even got the move for her as well. The opponent shielding up the Psychic Fangs, and this is basically curtains for the opponent. I decided to shield this, such an obvious shield. We've seen this team with a Skarmory, Dragonair, and Dragonite. The opponent is just in an absolute shambles. They've already let the Shadow Ball go, and yeah, they're just basically looking to be in a rough spot here. I think I go for Psychic Fangs just to basically burn the clock. Yeah, we come into our Jellicent, look to bubble it down. And at this point, it is tempting to shield, but I really am just making a hard call that it will be Dragonite in the back. And here it comes, guys. We still get off the Shadow Ball. I've had this situation happen a few times. This is a pretty consistent thing that you always get off the Shadow Ball. We come in with the Steelix. Don't even show the Carbink in the back. Carbink would have been beating that as well. And we go 3-2 for a set. I think I lost my first 2 games, and we're back over veteran again. Now in the first set we had quite a lot of positive matches. We do have quite a negative lead here in Lickitung. What I decided to do is, because I'm on Bubble, stay in and sort of chip it a little bit. I try to go for catch and Steelix if possible, and try to get a bit of like extra farm of Jelly. Jelly with Bubble, as you can see, can put in a decent amount of work, and in comes Gligar. Now you guys are about to see in this matchup, this is actually not that bad for Steelix. The thing I like about using Steelix with this moveset this season is that it feels more like a normal Pokemon. Last season, it was such a cheesy Pokemon with Breaking Swipe. It definitely had to be nerfed. It was very unfortunate that Haxorus and all these other Pokemon got nerfed because of it, but Steelix was definitely a big problem last season. It was beating Gligars, it was beating Diggersbys in the 2s, beating Swamperts in the Great League and Ultra League. They definitely made quite a mistake with what they done with Breaking Swipe, and especially nerfing it as well. People build Rayquazas for Master League. I think, Niantic should be a little bit careful about what they do with move updates, because if they don't really think about it and look at the sims and everything, you end up with situations like this where we have Steelix and people invest their DOS right and build it for Ultra League. I built a level 50 Steelix for Ultra League as well, and unfortunately it was nerfed in that regard. With all that being said though, the good news about Steelix is you can just use this Pokemon like a normal Pokemon again. These movesets of Earthquake and either Psychic Fangs, Crunch, you can go for, like I said, Psychic Fangs as you can see in the graphic, Psychic Fangs and Crunch, which I do think is the best moveset for this current meta. So Steelix is still a very usable Pokemon, just definitely not quite as annoying, and to be honest, Steelix a little bit unfair last season, right? So not quite as unfair as it was before. The opponent top left instantly. Good games well played. The opponent obviously did not have a great answer to it, hence why they brought in Carbink. We went straight Earthquake, not messing around, and that worked out pretty nicely. Now in this next game, guys, we have once again this lead. We go for the catch, the opponent does not fall for it this time, and they come into Gligar once again with this moveset, and even Breaking Swipe. If you want to be like, a gambler, right? If you want to flip coins for your matches, sure, run Breaking Swipe, see if you can get the debuffs. Good luck. Honestly, good luck. If you're on your good run, right, you guys know what I mean, like, you're on a good run, you're getting all the debuffs, the opponent's not getting all the debuffs on you, you're having a good run, Breaking Swipe still going to be working pretty well, but I just think for consistency, you want this kind of moveset. The opponent comes into Carbink once again, so it looks like we're basically in a very dominating position now. We have our own Carbink, we have Jellicent, we get the shield off the opponent. Maybe could have been a very easy bait spot, but we're going to come into our own Carbink here, preserve the Jelly. The Skarmory does still have quite a lot of energy, but they are getting quite low. We did put a lot of damage into them. I'm stumbling over my words. Guys, this 40-minute video is going to be rough. It's been a while since I've done a longer commentary like this. We come back in with Jelly, and in the ones, this is very dominant with Bubble. I believe with Hex, this is actually a winning matchup for Carbink in the ones, but yeah, the opponent has no shot here. We have too much health, too much energy, and the opponent decides just to let them move through. Good games well played. And guys, I have actually seen quite a lot more Carbinks. Oh, and it's my good friend Zyrobite. After that set, after the 4-1, we're 25-59. And shout out to Zyrobite. He had a very sort of weak team to Jellicent. Definitely very difficult to deal with Jelly. Skarmory, not really a great answer to it. And we are seeing quite a lot of Skarmory leads. Once again, I go for the catch. The opponent does not fall for it once again. Just like my good friend Zyrobite, this opponent's not falling for it, but they throw the Brave Bird anyway. Bruh, what's going on, buddy? What's going on? What you got in the back there, buddy? The opponent goes for another move. I might even shield this, bro. No, I just let it through. Oh, it's Carbink. They come in with Carbink, ladies and gents. So I'm thinking, okay, it's definitely just Stinky Binky and like Dragonite or Dragonair or something like that. In which case, we should be absolutely fine. And we should be able to get off 2 moves. The opponent actually froze the move here. I'm happy enough to shield this up. I'm going to go straight for the Earthquake, grab the opponent's shield, and see what we can do from there. The opponent's going to farm us down. I'm just going to maintain the alignment. So yep, super sure it's going to be a dragon in the back. Carbink absolutely deals with this thing. Stinky Binky, it just absolutely wipes the floor with dragons. Even Azu, it's a pretty decent matchup for Azu, but it can get a little bit tricky. With buff to Bubble, that matchup is a little bit better for Azu now, with Play Rough. Beforehand, it was a little bit tricky and a little bit awkward. But like I said, Carbink, not many better answers for dragons than Carbink. The opponent comes in and throws a move straight away. I think I do just about live this, and I think I actually throw the Rock Slide by mistake here. I wasn't quite sure if it was at the Moonblast. That's perfectly fine. We just need to get some chip on this thing. We can survive any one move. And yeah, as the opponent realizes here, we're going to go up to back-to-back, and that's good games. Now guys, we're going to be seeing some core breakers, and this match pissed me off. I didn't really have a good answer to Whimsicott, so basically my only option is to stay in here, fire off a Shadow Ball, go for a bait, whatever the case may be. I decided to go for a bait here. A Shadow Ball would more or less take out Whimsicott at this range, and they just let it through. They just let it through for some reason. I'm not too sure what that's all about, because as you're about to see here, we're going to go for the Shadow Ball this time, and the opponent's actually going to shield this move. So I thought that was so weird. Usually whenever you're showing that you're ABA weak to something, and you're just trying to get off a Shadow Ball in the Whimsicott, it seems like such an easy shield. It's like the easiest shield in the world, but for some reason the opponent did not shield it, letting the Surf go. And then whenever I shielded and went for the Shadow Ball, they just shielded. It's just such a weird play. We come in with Steelix here. We're going to look to try and farm this the whole way down. Looking a little bit tricky here. We do have a little bit of Steelix left, and they come into a Wistaddy Cash. So this is basically game over for us here, unfortunately. Pretty much hard counter front and back. In comes Carbink. Carbink is super bulky, but unfortunately it's not going to be able to get the job done here. Wistaddy Cash, too good. We did debuff its defense, so the opponent is inclined to swap out. They come into Kingdra. Now perhaps we can get a farm down, and maybe like to get off a Moonblast on the Whiscash. It does about 40%, we still have 1-to-1 shields. The opponent will have to build up to back-to-back moves, but this is basically just game over, and yeah, let's just hop on into the next one. I basically wanted to show you guys that, like, I was getting core breakers too, like in these good runs. I always have some really patchy parts as well where I go 1-4. The opponent doesn't even shield the Moonblast, and that's good games. I was pissed. We're down to 25-13 elo after that 1-4 set, and we're basically just trying to regain here, trying to get it back together again, and in comes a bloody Farforn, so the luck is not turning around here. That set was absolutely brutal. I'm not going to be showing you every single match from the 2 days, because of course it is going to be 50 battles. I don't really have enough time to show you, and I'm sure you don't have enough time to watch 50 battles, but that last 1-4 set, definitely quite rough. We're doing a very, very similar thing here. We're basically playing out the zeros. I do go for a last second Surf before the opponent decides to maybe go for a Power Whip, and they do end up shielding the Surf, which is huge for me in this situation. Now once again, this is another matchup where having Crunch would be a lot more beneficial. We get to the Crunch in 5 Dragon Tails. We do end up going for Psychic Fangs, and the opponent will get off another Power Whip. So yeah, we're definitely getting quite low here. We still have 2 shields. We're basically hoping that Farforn is the only big answer to Carbink, and that basically Carbink can sweep the backline. The opponent gets off yet another move, and at this point, I just have to trust in Carbink. We'll see what they come in with. Her Farforn, take it out, and they come into a Jellicent. This is tricky, especially because it's on Bubble. They go straight for the move. Just in case it's Bubble Beam, my no shield, it is Surf, and I have to eat a move no matter what. I decide to go for the Mooney Bee here, thinking that it's a very obvious spot to be at. I might as well go for the move, see if they want to let it through. And at that point, yeah, it's just an instant top left. So if you guys do see these teams, they are very, very rough. Once again, not a bad lead. We do have 2 answers to it though. And in comes Shadow Poliwrath versus Steelix. Now I'm using non-Shadow Steelix, and the opponent lets that move through, thinking it's just a breaking swipe. Now I decide to respect the damage here. The opponent does go for an Icy Wind, unfortunately, which makes this a little bit trickier. I can definitely get a shield back off the opponent, but if they go Icy Wind, they definitely can take it. The Dragon Tails add up a little bit less. If the opponent goes for Scald and does not get the debuff, you can actually flip that matchup. The opponent's firing off Scalds on Jellicent, which even though resisted, do quite a lot of damage, and in comes this thing. So what I decide to do here is try to go for a move, basically grab the shield off the opponent if possible, and then we're going to come into our big boy here. Yeah, we're going to come in, try to farm this the whole way down, absorb any energy they want to throw, and at this point we should be in a very good position. They go for X-Scissor here. We just end up farming it the whole way. I guess the opponent's switch locked at this point. They have Crunch, and in comes Dragonite. This is basically curtains for the opponent. We can eat any one move here. Even a superpower would only barely get us into the yellow from that range. They would need 2 superpowers to KO. And once again, here comes Skarmory, guys. Skarmory, definitely the most popular lead I was seeing yesterday. The leads definitely did switch up a little bit, and we were seeing a lot more random stuff. However, if you guys were tuning into the last video, you'll see that I seen, once again, we get the catch. Very, very consistent. If you just wait that turn, they go for 1-4 for good timing. And on this occasion, they're not coming into Dragonair, they're coming into Gligar. But if you were watching yesterday's video, towards the end, we were seeing an absolute ton of rubbish. A lot of you guys quite liked my comments about the Giraffe rig. Why am I seeing a giraffe on my screen? I actually do want to ask you guys, especially if you're watching at this point in the video, because I would assume that you guys are more regular viewers if you're sort of tuning in for 15 minutes here. I do want to ask you guys in the comments, do let me know as well. Sometimes in my videos, I'll swear and I'll make like these jokes that are maybe like a little bit inappropriate. Nothing too serious, right? Like I try to keep it kind of not too crazy, but I do like to say some stupid shit at times. Do you prefer that? Or would you prefer videos to be a lot more clean, a lot more streamlined, and a lot more sort of professional, let's say, right? Let me know in the comments down below. Because I do often think like, maybe some people are watching and they don't like that style of video, and maybe it would just be better if I didn't swear or didn't sort of go a little bit over the top of the jokes or whatever, but I do oftentimes get sort of funny comments about the things that I say in the videos, and I've even heard people call it the king brand of commentary, so I certainly would like to hear your opinions in the comments down below. I do think there are quite a lot of content creators who are sort of more on the cleaner side, don't really swear, don't really say too much crazy shit. I think it would be mainly myself and Jamie Finn that are sort of the main candidates for some trash talk, but yeah, of course let me know your thoughts in the comments there. We do shield for the Venusaur with Psychic Fangs. Not that you're going to see a lot of Venusaur, but it is definitely quite a nice benefit of having that. And we go for 5-4 for good timing here. We basically still have 2 answers to this, but I don't mind just getting the alignment I want. We go for a huge... Oh, they go into the Zapdos. And of course they can't Thundershock us down. Us being a ground type, that's going to do an absolute ton of damage. And and I wanted to let this move through. Zapdos is quite an interesting pick, and I'm quite jealous I don't have this Pokemon for Great League, Shadow Zapdos. I would definitely love to have it. Does quite a lot of damage, actually. I was certainly curious to see how much a Thunderbolt would do from that. Yeah, the opponent's just basically screwed here. Not too sure whether or not top lifting here at this stage. This is curtains for them, and yeah, Steelix once again putting in the work. They do eventually concede, and it is 25-26 elo at this point. So we're up, you know, a decent amount of elo. Like, we haven't gained an absolute ton. Most of my sets here were definitely like free twos. I think yesterday I had 1-1-4 and 1-4-1, and the majority of them were free twos. Today, I think all of my sets were free two except for a 4-1 and a 2-3 at the end. So definitely very consistent. Not a team that's going crazy 5-0s all the time. Just a team that's consistently getting decent results. And sometimes whenever you're just getting free twos, it doesn't feel like you're doing that well. But if you get free twos like for 2 days in a row, suddenly you're up 150 elo. And it's really that consistency that you're looking for. In comes Lickitung. I decide I want to try and shield for alignment here. Because I am Steelix after all. We have to do Steelix things with Steelix, right? I think we even... No, we don't quite get off the move on the Gligar. But we do maintain that alignment, which we want. The opponent comes into a Charjabug and instantly top lefts. With this team, you charge a bug, you lose. Basically, if you have a Charjabug, you just insta-lose if it's in the back. The opponent goes for a very nice catch in the Shadow Ball here. Definitely quite frustrating. And we do come into Steelix. We do get a chip on it, and we're basically going to look to do the exact same thing. Psychic Fangs the life out of this thing. This thing will launch Power Whips and so on. I think I even... Okay, I let this move go. I think it's a very easy shield if you want to just guarantee to shield a Power Whip. Maybe I'm thinking I can try and take this in the zeros. But I do think I end up shielding and farming down and getting off Psychic Fangs on the Poly. Yeah, so this could be a Body Slam, which is kind of unfortunate. No, they did go for Power Whip, so fair play to the opponent. They probably weren't getting to 2 moves anyway. And we do get a Psychic Fangs off in Poly, which is not insignificant, because it is an awkward match with Jelly, especially down to shield. They swap, I swap, they come in with this thing, and it's basically game over once again. We can look to go for Moonblast on the Poliwrath, and Jellicent, even though down to shield, should be in a decent enough position against Poly. The thing is, however, guys, we've got 1 shield, they've got 2, right? They do have loaded energy. I believe they've got 9 counters at this point, if I remember correctly. We're going to go for this Moonblast straight away. The opponent wants to deny the energy. Maybe I should have shielded here and got off those 2 moves. I think that might have been a lot more comfortable, because now we're in a position where Poliwrath can look to potentially go for baits. I decide to call it, they go straight for the Scald. So this is awkward now. They can go straight for baits at this point. So I hate this matchup, it's very, very awkward. I think I go straight Surf here again. I'm thinking the opponent probably will go Icy Wind. Yeah, they do. Correctly enough. And I'm going to go for another Surf Bait. I basically need to land this Surf Bait. The opponent shields it, thank goodness, and get off the Shadow Ball. We do get that off as well. So very, very close in the 1-2s versus Poly. That Pokemon, I wouldn't say it's busted, but it's very, very strong. In my personal opinion, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I don't think it's quite as strong as Medicham was in its prime, but Poliwrath definitely has been underestimated. I've seen some people talking about it, saying it's a little bit overhyped, if you will. Absolutely not. Poliwrath is amazing. So the opponent here comes into a Pidgeot, and we're going to basically overfarm with Jelly. By the way, look at the animation of Jellicent when it's doing the hexes. It turns like really... It looks really funny. Slow down the video and look at Jellicent doing bubbles or hexes. It looks kind of ridiculous, actually. But yeah, we get rid of it. The opponent comes back into their Stunfisk. This is a little bit tricky. We sort of do have to stay in here. My Jellicent is getting quite low as well. The opponent done decent damage to it, but this Moonblast is really going to chunk, and that's a good thing about having a Unova Stunfisk as opposed to a Galarian. You can put in that damage. This is quite a unique pick for this cup, and we actually survived that, unfortunately, giving the opponent more damage. Now, I decided to go straight for the Surf CMP. This will get the knockout. I decide to wait a turn, let them do the 1-and-throw for good timing, and come into Steelix. Sometimes, depending on how good the players are that you're playing, you need to judge whether they're going to throw in good timing, or if they're going to insta-throw. On those occasions, when they're not in too much danger of getting taken out, I do tend to think they'll go for 1-and-throw, and I think that's a better sort of way to catch the move. The opponents basically quit their app here. In comes Mantine. We drop their defense, understandably so. Steelix just being an absolute wall to what's in the back once again, and that's good games well played. So I believe this is the final battle of day 1's battles here. We have a Swampert lead, quite an uncommon lead. I still think Swampert is quite underrated. However, I do... Oh, they go for the catch and bug here, interesting enough. What I decide to do here is come into Steelix. I do a 2-and-throw, so that we can basically get a little bit of extra energy, but not take 2 Volt Switches. The damage in this game, if you guys didn't know this, the damage applies 1 turn before the turn duration finishes. So the opponent has a 4-turn move. After 3 turns, the damage will apply. I've got a 3-turn move, so it'll be 3, 6, and the damage would apply after 7. So if you do 2 hexes, that's 6 turns, and then you swap out. the damage will apply on the turn that you swap out, meaning that Steelix will take the resisted move, and we actually go straight for the Earthquake on the Swampert as well. The opponents will never expect that. It's the very typical Steelix play. Oh, here we go. Steelix has Breaking Swipe. They're going to go for a beta. Nope, we're going straight for Earthquake. We're playing Steelix like it's an actual Pokemon, and in this next match we have the Mirror Lead. Absolutely hate this, guys. As you've seen from the very start there, we're up to about 2570 at this point. And from this point in the video, you're going to see the difference between a Crunch and Earthquake. There certainly was a few occasions where I wanted Earthquake, and in this first battle, I hate this mirror match. They do actually go for the Shadow Ball a second time around, and I decide, okay, we bait once, we bait twice. We're going to try to get a foothold in this matchup somehow. The opponent shields up the Surf, that's definitely a good start, and I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm going to cut my losses. If they bait me here, they win. They go for the Surf, ladies and gents, and we're going to go for Shadow Ball. I'm not messing about anymore. It's like, if you want to go for this messing about match, fine. I'll take a shield advantage and just cut my losses there. I don't think the opponent would have quite been able to Hex down, and they do go for a Surf to take me out. Perfectly fine. We come in with Steelix, and as you're seeing here, we do actually have Crunch. Now at this moment in time, guys, I'm thinking that if we get rid of this Jellicent, my Carbink hopefully should be free in the back. I'm going to go for, oh, they come into Steelix, and I'm going to go for Crunch. I'm thinking my Carbink should be free in the back. However, this Steelix is still very bad, right, for Carbink. The opponent once again is on Crunch. I think we got the debuff in the first time around, and we're going to go for a Crunch once again. I think the debuff was kind of important because it's going to put us in a position where we can actually farm it down with Carbink. We go for the insta swap here. Does the opponent throw Psychic Fangs or Crunch? Psychic Fangs, kind of annoying, right? We're going to be able to farm this the whole way down, and we should be able to clear a debuff at some point. This is definitely quite annoying. The Jellicent, I believe, is still alive and may still get to a move. They come into Gligar, ladies and gents. Now, in this matchup, what I've sort of noticed is that you need to go for 2 Rock Slides. 1 Moonblast and farm down if you've got a lot of shields up, or Rock Slides. You can actually Rock Slide farm down it as well. I'm just going to get this move off before they get to their next move, and I actually decide to go for a Catch here as well. Clearing my debuff, and putting this Pokemon in a position where I can farm it the whole way down. We're going to farm it the whole way down. They don't even make it to the next Aurelius. And the opponent, like I said, still has a Jellicent alive and a low health Steelix. Jellicent comes in, they have a move. Can we survive a Surf? We do easily survive, and we're going to go for a Moonblast immediately here. Not taking any additional Hex damage. I don't think a Rock Slide would have KO'd from that range, and I knew that I would be able to get to a move against the Steelix. And of course, being double resisted, Dragon Tail's not going to farm us down. That match almost went to the timer, and that's good games well played. Very, very sweaty matchup, and the opponent's showing the exact same team as us. Very positive lead in the next match. Now, what I've realised about this matchup is, you can go for basically 2 Surfs to KO a Whiscash, especially if it's Shadow, and the Bubbles plus Surfs will add up enough. But I do like going for Shadow Ball, because I do tend to think they'd let the move go, and if it gets a little bit dicey, right, you're putting them in a position where, yes, they're going to get off this next move, but they're going to be forced to throw immediately, and if they do start shielding and messing around with your Jelly, you're in a position where it's a lot more manageable for Carbink or Steelix, so that's kind of why I like going Shadow Ball. But technically you don't need to do that. Now I'm not going to let the opponent farm us down, and they come into Gligar. Once again, guys, Steelix versus Gligar, resisted wing attacks. They can go for Crunch, or sorry, Dig, but it's going to be basically fine here. I can let this move go. Guys, the only time I've ever shielded this move, it was an Aurelius. So I think ever since then, I'm just letting Digs go on Steelix. I've had some very, very unlucky calls. As you've seen earlier with the Whimsicott matchup, I've had some very unfortunate bait calls against me and for me. Where the opponents are, like, in this case, they go for Aurelius. I don't care at this point anymore. Like, the damage is done here. There's no reason for me to shield this anymore. We just come straight into Stinky Binky. The opponent should be top lefting here, and that's good games. Once again, guys, we get a Skarmory lead, and this is just a fantastic lead here for this team. The one thing that is tricky, like I said, is there's oftentimes a Whiscash in the back, so you do want to preserve your Jelly where possible, and do try to make this catch every time, guys. Super, super consistent, 1 and fro for good timing. The opponent goes for Brave Bird on the Steelix, and in comes Dragonair once again. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm showing this stupid matchup again. It's just so satisfying. Even though Steelix is kind of an annoying Pokemon, we're no longer using Breaking Swipe, so I think this Pokemon is a lot more tolerable now. Ever since the start of these limited metas this season, people have been like, yeah, I can run Skarmory Double Dragon. Surely there's no problem with this. Well, I'm letting you know, folks, there is a problem, and that is Steelix. There is a problem, and its name is Steelix. This is definitely the absolute worst thing you can possibly see. The opponent's letting the Crunch go, probably thinking it's just a Psychic Fangs or Breaking Swipe. We let the move go, of course. We know it's in the back. It's just going to be Dragonite. Yep, here it comes. Once again, as I mentioned earlier, very consistently, you're able to live a Brave Bird and get off a Shadow Ball. Good games. We're going to come in with Steelix. We're not even going to show the opponent Carbink, because that's just another hard wall to Dragonite as well. So good games well played to the opponent. If the opponent was seeing a lot of Steelixes, I'm sure they would probably consider changing up the team. I oftentimes see teams like this in Go Battle League, where it's just like, you insta-lose, and it's guaranteed that you insta-lose if you see one particular Pokemon. Once again, we have a Skarmory lead. I don't like running teams like that. It's just so risky, guys. It is really risky just to like put your hopes and prayers that you're not going to see one particular thing. Insta top left, guys. Alright, this is it, guys. No more. I've showed you enough of that. No more Skarmory double dragon, alright? Jellicent versus Gligar, pretty positive lead here. This actually gets a little bit dicey though. It's dicier than you would think. And in this situation, I go straight for the Shadow Ball this time. The amount of times I've had my bait called here has been insane. The opponent lets it through, so I'm like, okay, finally. I land the Shadow Ball through 2 shields. The opponent knows they can live it, so they probably think, okay, we'll play out the zeros. I do swap into my Steelix here, now that we've landed the heavy damage. And as you're seeing here, we can live 2 Surfs, even without the Breaking Swipe debuffs. I do definitely prefer the non-Shadow for this reason. It's much easier to tank moves, and it's a lot more comfortable in many different matchups. Now at this point, guys, in comes Gligar. They can take us out with an Aurelius at this point, but the wing attacks are resisted, and we're even getting to a Crunch. Psychic Fangs and Crunch. This is going to do an awful lot of damage here at this point. Look at the work Steelix just put into Gligar. It's almost dead. Where did the Gligar go? Where's Gligar? Did anybody see him? Did anybody see him? I swear he was here a second ago. He just got farmed down. Good games. This is still a little bit awkward, but it's pretty much fine. The opponent does not know I've got Carbink in the back, and they can't really Brave Bird me if they Brave Bird. They're basically setting themselves up to get farmed down by something. So I'm happy enough to let whatever they want to throw go here. Yeah, it's just a Sky Attack. We'll go straight Surf on this thing. The opponent made a nice call, just, you know, no shielding the Surf, but at this point it's not really going to make a difference. We only need to keep throwing Surfs here, it doesn't really matter. And we just heavily outpace to these moves as well. And it's going to be very difficult for them to Steel Wing us down. We do just about get to the move, and I decide, yeah, I'm not even going to show you my back Pokemon. Sometimes if you can avoid showing your opponent's back Pokemon, you do so, because people do write teams down. And yeah, if you ever face this opponent in the next coming days, they could just know your team instantly, so better just to kind of keep it hidden if possible. So very negative lead in this next matchup, and we're going to come into Steelix here. The opponent meets us with a Jelly, and we're going to look to basically fire off Crunches here. The opponent's going to actually let the Crunch go through here, and this match gets fairly close now, because we can certainly eat a move, no problem whatsoever. And we're in a position now where we can even think about baiting. I decide to shield up the Surf, and we're going to go straight for the Psychic Fangs. I believe here that I can eat another Surf, and yeah, basically just farm it the whole way down. Bubble Jellicent is a little bit more awkward in this situation. I decided because they shielded, I'm going to happily shield back, just to make sure that I can definitely take alignment here. This is getting a little bit close. That last Dragon Tail that went for it did take them out. Now we're in a position where we have Carbink on Charjabug, which is about the hardest wall imaginable. It's going to take them about 10 moves to take out Carbink, so we've even debuffed them. We don't give a shit here. We're just going to come in. In comes Lickitung. A little bit awkward. So I think what I'm going to look to do here is go for the Chip and Dip. We're going to build all the way up to the Moonblast. Go for the Rock Slide. Even if they let this through, that should put them in like double Surf range. And yeah, we're basically in a good position now. We easily live a Power Whip on this thing, and I'm hopefully going to be able to get off 2 Surfs. If the opponent wants to prevent that, they're going to have to throw another Power Whip, which is going to basically leave them completely dry and in a super vulnerable position to Carbink. Carbink will then be able to outpace to a Rock Slide, and because of course we baited, I think we're still in 4 Rock Throws. So we're in a very good position here. Yeah, we're about 5 or 6 off the move here. The opponent gets off a last second move anyway. The opponent did get quite a lot of farm. However, we're not too worried about this. Doesn't do a lot of damage. They come in with Charjabug, and we're basically chilling. Discharge. Those discharges add up, by the way, and actually this Rock Slide does not KO. So if Charjabug gets a mad overfarm, they can put in some work against your Carbink. However, the Lickitung is dry. We farm it the whole way down, and Binky too thicky. Stinky Binky too thick. And once again, guys, we're going free too. This team didn't get a lot of great sets, but we had a lot of good sets with it. In this next match here, we have Chestnut. Guys, Chestnut's such a core breaker. They end up giving us a free move, and they go straight for the move in 5. Very, very easy shield. It's only going to be a superpower. And in comes Gligar. So at this point, I'm feeling pretty happy about this. I was thinking, okay, maybe I can take Swap here. But then I realized I really need shields, and I really need energy. The best case scenario would be to get a farm down with Jelly and look to land Shadow Ball on the Chestnut. The opponent shield's absolutely perfect here. I'm going to let this move through. I was going to shield it, but then I realized, yeah, it's actually energy that I need. And we're going to look to go for this next move. The opponent throws instantly here, so this is perfect. The opponent should be fairly dry. Aurelius actually does KO, and we get 3 bubbles through, which is absolutely perfect. Now the Chestnut's dry, and we're in a position now where we can actually outpace. Before they get to 2 Frenzies, we can get to 2 Shadow Balls, or maybe it'll be CMP on the final one. We go straight for the big move, and we look to go for... I should have went for Catch there. I do end up going for the bubble, going for the shield, and I start to realize this is going to be difficult to bubble down, so I swap out, get a couple of Rock Throws through, and that just about takes them out. Now in comes Skarmory. We should be in a pretty decent spot here. The opponent cannot go for Brave Bird. I mean, if they're on Flash Cannon, Well done, you can beat Carbink, but you're going to lose to a lot of other stuff, so I'm pretty confident here. And the opponent is actually, like I said, not going to go for Brave. It's going to put them in a very vulnerable position. They go for Sky Attack, we go for Rock Slide, and that all but guarantees that the Surf will KO. Now the question is, guys, does the opponent throw the move? We go for the Surf. The opponent goes for the extra. The opponent definitely 100% had the move. I am not 100% sure. Does it? Yeah, Brave Bird probably does KO from there. So definitely fortunate. The opponent had the move, but decided not to throw it. Whimsicott lead. Oh dear. Here we go again with this shit. Fucking Whimsicott, bro. Alright, well, we're gonna let this move go. Let's see what we decide to do here this time. The opponent called it last time. We're gonna go straight for the Shadow Ball. Does the opponent respect the damage? Of course they fucking do. Why would they not? It's a fucking Shadow Ball, bro. See, this guy's playing the game normally. This guy's playing the game normally. It's a fucking Shadow Ball. Of course you shield it, bro. Why would you not? Why would you not? Psychic Fangs, so I'm happy enough, like, I've got the shield out of them. And the opponent's on Seed Bomb, which is a good thing. Now, I make a bit of a misplay here. I misjudge how much damage Incinerate does. They do go straight for the Shadow Ball, which is fair play. I go for 1 and fro in Psychic Fangs, thinking I can 1 and fro and get to the... 2 and fro and get to the crunch. Wasn't able to get to it. Should have went for the second Psychic Fangs. Bit of a misplay. However, I decide, okay, maybe we can actually make something out of this. Disarming Voice doesn't KO. We can come in with Stinky Bingy, farm it the whole way down. And Stinky Bingy can eat easily 2 Seed Bombs. Not easily, but it certainly can eat them. Guys, by the way, if you didn't hear about it, Seed Bomb's a fucking terrible move. Get rid of it. It's not worth it, guys. It's cheaper, of course, but look at this thing, like it's not doing anywhere near enough damage. We're going to look to go for Rock Slide, see hopefully what's in the back, and see if we even have a chance of winning this game. They come in with a Mantine. There's an absolute glimmer of hope. Can I still beat this team somehow? Pretty rough team for me. The opponent goes straight for Aurelius, of course, at this point, or they build up to 7, right? Could be the Ice Beam, and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to go for Free and Catch. They go for the Aurelius. Now the question is, guys, they're going to be 5 away from the next move. How many Rock Throws? 1, 2, 3, 4. We just outpace it. Is this enough to take out bulky Mantine? Just about. It definitely is. Good games well played. That was a very, very close match. And another free too. We're up to 26-17. And I believe in this next set I go 4-1. We see the Oranguru, the Confusion users are back. However, this time we do have a much better answer to it. For 3 turns versus 4, you want to throw on 1 or 5. We throw after 5 and look to swap out into our Steelix here to try and absorb any potential damage. Now the opponent here, they're building up to the Earthquake. I'm not sure if I really believe it, and I think I'm pretty much happy just to get some consistent damage off on this thing with Crunch, and potentially get an overfarm of Jellicent. Look to sort of use that energy to defeat the Oranguru, which of course will be on Trailblaze and Foul Play. The opponent does go for Earthquake. They respect ours, we did not respect theirs, and they're going to commit to the farm down. We do get to a last second crunch here, which will be a little bit nice, a little bit vital here for the situation, and they actually get the defense drop. That's absolutely perfect. The opponent throws in 7. Now for some reason I think this can be an Earthquake. I need you guys to let me know in the comments if you know this energy a little bit better than I do. If they throw an Earthquake, is the next Earthquake 7 or is it just straight 8? I guess I could look it up on PvPoke, but I decide to go for the catch here. The opponent of course has a bunch of energy in Oranguru. They go for the Trailblaze, of course super effective, but not that threatening. And now we have an interesting situation here. Do we quite have enough in the tank to take this out? The opponent's got a Trailblaze free on us. We're up a shield, and the opponent is in a position where they can potentially start baiting here. I decide to respect the move, or even a Rock Slide would put me quite low. They do go for it, of course. And I really just want to get back into my Jellicent here in this situation. I throw the move. I believe that was a CMP tie. And this is looking a little bit tricky. Do I shield the Carbink? I do let this go knowing it's just a Rock Slide. This is tricky. We're quite low. The opponent's quite low as well. We get that bubble through, and we get another bubble through in the Oranguru, going for a 1 and fro for good timing. Now what I decide to do is try to commit to the farm down and maybe even try to get to back-to-back moves. If I can even get 1 bubble free on the Carbink, that would definitely be a big help. We're super low though. The opponent does not get the confusion through. We still have a shield, and we farm it down with 1 HP. Super, super close match. And let's hop on into the next one, guys. Yeah, so we're up to 26-17. Definitely very happy with this, considering where I started this cup. Like I said, well, I started this cup really well. I was on 2700 in the Great League. I got absolutely shit on for 2 days. And I've basically had 3 positive days in a row, so we're definitely on the up. Hopefully we don't get hit too hard with something in the next day or 2. It definitely would be nice to hit Expert here in the next day or 2. Just get that sort of under the belt, and then we can mess around, hit Legend towards the end of the season as usual. Whiscash coming through, boom, they go for the Scald. Guys, that is such a waste of energy. Just go for Mud Bombs. You're just wasting your energy going for this debuff. It's completely unnecessary, especially if you're not going to shield. Absolutely no point. They come into Charjabug, and I come into Steelix, and once again, we're getting met with a Gligar. We've seen this very, very common team so many times at this point. This team is ABB to, like, Mud Boys, right? Or ABB to ground, ABB to water, grass, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty ABB. So whenever you have a Charjabug, and you have some health left in your Jellicent, and you have your 2 back Pokemon alive, you just safe swap, you know, if you take a lead. Safe swap, don't let them get the overfarm, and come into your Steelix. As you're seeing, Steelix is doing perfectly fine here, and we actually end up taking it out on the zeros, which is kind of hilarious. We're going to get off another Psychic Fangs, which is just going to basically... we're coming into Jellicent. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm trolling here. I'm in Discord, streaming battles, having a laugh with people who are watching. I'm like, should I show them the Carbink? Should I come in and shield with Jellicent, start throwing surfs, try to take the opponent out with Jelly? I do end up just letting it go, and good games. Now, here we have this dreaded matchup once again. I decided to call it on this occasion because you do live it. Well, I live it, but not very comfortably. So, yeah, kind of annoying. It's just a 50-50. It's a coin flip. Probably safer to shield, but if you get baited, it's just so awkward. The opponent actually could have let that go and actually won the farm down because they're in Hex. So probably in that situation, you could just let that go, because if it's a bait, you're kind of shielding up a bad bait, and you can just Hex down. We do come into Steelix here, we've got the shield advantage. I decide to shield up once here, hoping that I can potentially farm it down, or even just get off the Psychic Fangs. We do get the farm down, which is beautiful here. And once again, guys, Gligar versus Steelix. Nowhere near as bad as you would expect it to be with Psychic Fangs. I would highly recommend trying out Steelix again. We go for a very nice catch here. The opponent froze instantly in bad timing, so lucky to get that catch, to be completely honest. We still have quite a lot of energy on Steelix. Carbink can deal with Gligar as well, so I decided to come on and through to Carbink, look to try and deal with this. We can basically rock throw it the whole way down. They need to throw like 3 moves here to take us out. I don't think they're going to be at the first one, so I decided to shield it up correctly. And terrible CMP die, guys. Terrible CMP. A little bit off track with energy. I end up eating the dig and throwing the energy. Worst case scenario here, unfortunately. The opponent comes into a Guzzlord. This is my lifeline, ladies and gents. This is my absolute lifeline. I could not have handpicked a better Pokemon to have in the back. I'm just going to debuff the absolute shite out of this thing. And yeah, basically look to Dragon Tail it the whole way down. The opponent's basically committing to the farm down, but Carbink's way too thick. Even if they had Sludge Bomb in this situation, it's not going to be enough. Brutal Swing's definitely not going to be enough, and that's good games. I was kind of fortunate there. I completely messed up that end game, going for that CMP tie. I either needed to throw the move early, or just commit to the farm down. I done neither. I CMP'd on the dig. Definitely not the play. Now, the opponent's got a Shadow Skarmory, so I decide that they'll probably shield a potential Shadow Ball, and in comes Dragonair. I told you this was the last Dragonair. I mean, you have to see it, guys. You have to see it to believe it. People are swapping Dragonair into a Steelix with energy. Even though it's only one Dragon Tail, we are still slightly ahead in energy, and that's just not what you want to see, folks. That is not what you want to see. They come in with Skarmory. We're even going to go for a Crunch here. And I think we're going to play this the exact same way we've been playing it. We'll get off this move. I'll look to try and get out. Unfortunately, the switch clocks are misaligned. We're going to let this move through. And if it is Dragonite in the back, this is just an instant top left here. We're going to come into our Jelly here. Somebody in Discord was like, you know it's Dragonite, bro. Just come in Jelly. Yep, of course it's Dragonite. And as I mentioned before, this is not even going to get us into the red, or the yellow, sorry. Yeah, we're still in the green after that. We can basically just farm this thing the whole way down. I was once again messing about in Discord. I was going to go for the 1 HP knockout, but good games, and we have the worst lead. I hate this lead, guys. I really do. If you guys have been playing GBL for a while, the Galarian Stunfisk match used to be like this. Is it going to be Rock Slide? Is it going to be Earthquake? Is it going to be Shadow Ball? Of course it's Surf, guys. I have no luck today. I'm calling all of the wrong shit. I'm going to go for Shadow Ball. The opponent's probably going to shield it, and we're going to be in complete shambles. Yep, the opponent shields. We're in complete shambles. I'm like, oh, bruh. Okay, whatever. Surf me, big boy. He surfs. The opponent goes for the surf. Completely unnecessary. Once you've got that bait through and you've already shielded a Shadow Ball, it's just greedy going for more. I decided to go for a swap out, thinking they might be a little bit weak to Jelly in the back, thinking also that it might just be my team, and this kind of confirms it. The opponent's going for Psychic Fangs here, so what I'm thinking is the opponent's on Breaking Swipe, Swiking Fangs. Swiking Fangs, guys. The opponent's on Swiking Fangs. This should be very, very dominant for us. It's quite a long matchup, it takes a while. Swiking Fangs coming through. We're going to go for a Crunchy Wunchy here. Maybe the opponent's on Heavy Slam. Maybe I'm completely misjudging it. Maybe it's Heavy Slam. I decide here what I want to do is just eat this move. And I pretty much decide like it's going to be Carbink in the back. So if I get the energy lead with Jelly, I'll be able to take out their Jelly easily. And I'll be able to surf the Carbink. So it should be basically curtains for them. Shadow Ball coming through. They actually do full send the move. And it is Carbink. I don't insta-throw like an absolute bot this time. And we don't get the move caught on us. Yep, super effective surf coming through. And we're in a position now where that Jellicent will be able to get taken out by my Carbink. So good games well played here basically, guys. We get off this final surf as well. I decided to undercharge it because I don't want the Jellicent to get a farm down. We're going to let them throw the moves here. The opponent stops attacking, I stop attacking, I come into Carbink. They eventually throw the move here. That was probably a loose con for them to get a farm down with Jelly, but the Jelly is quite low, and one Moonblast should take care of it here. Yeah, so as you see, like, the Jelly is getting to a move here. If I had to let them get the farm down, they were getting off 2 surfs, and this was starting to get really, really dicey. So even though it looked like a little bit of a fancy play, maybe a little bit unnecessary, it absolutely was necessary. I don't think I would have got to the Moonblast there. And yeah, it was going to be very, very tricky. Well, that's it for the video, guys. As you're seeing here, we actually ended up going 2-free in the final set. I got power whipped by the bloody Ferrothorn. The final set was nothing but core breakers. I believe we went from 2497 to 2649. So 152 elo in 2 days. Definitely very, very happy with that. And I hope you guys enjoy the team. If you did, guys, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. It's very much appreciated. And once again, guys, thank you very much for the support. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time for a brand new video.